What is the difference between Varna, Jati and Caste? Because there are lots and lots of misconception. One term is transposed on the other. So there is a lot of confusion regarding it, and not just in language, but it finally affects the society and the politics. So what is the difference between these three terms?
I'll take the terms in the reverse way. Caste I can explain. Caste is something which is not part of the Bharatiya literature at all. Right? So this is as you might know, it's a Portuguese term which has been imported into the Indian context. So that is nothing to do with Bharatiya civilization. Varna and Jati are the Indian concepts. Again, I will state this, right? Many are trying to understand this system by way of some simpler explanation. So I will quote E. A. Gate, who has been the Census Commissioner of India in 1911. He says, apparently the caste, he refers to caste, right? The caste seems to be fixed and immutable, but in reality it does not appear to. There are new castes which are being born, old ones are disappearing. Right? He says there is a new jati which comes in. It's all by function. Sometimes it is by their occupation, it is by their habitat, it is by their social practices. Suddenly they start forming a new group, and then they call themselves maybe a new jati, and then they start having their own marriage practices among themselves. Then it starts withdrawing from it. And the way he describes it as beautifully, he says that it is like a hover hand of a clock. Right? You cannot see the hover hand moving perceptibly, but nevertheless it moves. That way the jati keeps evolving. And he gives the example of Darzi caste, the Darzis. He says they have Brahmanas in that, they have Rajputs are also claiming some of them, and there are other communities also claiming part of this Darzi occupation and caste. So that's how even the census commissioner was not able to clearly understand or appreciate our Indian system. So it's a Varna Jati system, and then it has Purusharthas, and then what are the goals of life. So it again starts with what is our duty to the society, because that is the whole concept of the Bharatiya civilization, of how they need to live in harmony with nature, what are the duties of a person, or what is his duty towards his community, what is his duty towards the country. Right? That's how the whole civilization has been built, and hence the Varna Jati system is very different from what has been the Western Drishti. One needs to use the Indian Drishti to understand.
But what is Jati? Like, is it like just a group of people, or is it like group of people according to professions? You see, if today some people gather and they call themselves as ex-Jati, what would make them that Jati? Like, what would be necessary for them to call themselves as a Jati?
As I said, Gate says that, right? Jati keeps mutating, it keeps changing by way of habitat, by way of practices, by way of functions. So it keeps changing by itself. So it has never been a fixed system to say that, right, okay, this particular 3-4 characteristics make this as particular Jati, right? It keeps evolving, it's an evolving system.